Alright guys, so in this episode we're going to be displaying the review that a user adds to a particular room. So I'll first of all go back to the home because we've not built the rooms page yet. And I'll go to luxury suites, and I think this is the room that the user booked. Alright, if I scroll down now, we want to display it right here. So what we need to do now is to go back to our code, and on our components folder I will create a new file called review.astro. Remember, we already have one review.tsx. So right here I'll bring in the code fence like so, and I'll just pass a div like so, and I'll create an h3 that says customers review. So I can just quickly go to the room details page, and I'll just copy everything here, or I'll cut it and replace it with this one. I think the same with this one as well, like so. So what we need to do now is to pass in that review component. So we say review like so, and let's see if we can automatically import it. Yeah, so we can. All right, so we also need to pass in the room ID because we want the review to be specific to a particular room. So in order to do that, we just say we already have the room right here. So we say room ID, then I will just say room dot. We should have a drop down of all the complete autocomplete right here. So this is what we want to pass. All right, so once you have this, or once you've done this, we need to go back to the review Astro file, and we just need to structure it here. So we can say room ID, say Astro props like so. And before this, let's also add an interface that says props, and we just set the room ID to be a string, so we don't have any TS errors. So right now what we want to do is that we want to query our review document and check if that review is approved, and also if that review has a matching ID with the room that has been reviewed. I don't know if that makes sense. So what I will just do first of all is to come underneath here and say const reviews, and say await, and say sanity. This should be lowercase, sanity client. Then make sure you're importing it. Then we'll say dot fetch like so, then open parentheses like so, and inside here we'll use backticks and say star, then say the type should be the review. I hope I'm spelling review correctly. So this should be review, and we want to check if the room is approved, because we only want to show, rather if the review is approved, we only want to show a review that is approved. So we say it's true, and if it should be, and then so if the room dot underscore ref matches the room ID that we are passing. And also let's also filter in terms of order. So we want to show the latest one, so we can say order and say underscore created at, and we'll just set this to descending. Then right here we need to pass in something, so we say user. So basically we want to destructure the name from the user document, so we say name like so, then add a comma here. Then we also need to destructure the rating from the room, the comments, and the created at. And lastly we just want to pass in this, so make sure we add a comma right here and just say room ID like so. Now what we want to just do is just to map over these reviews variable right here. So I will come underneath, and just underneath this guy, I will say reviews, the length, if is greater than 0, then we want to do something. Then if it's also, there should be a question mark right here. And if it's less than 0, we still want to do something. Basically, we just want to render this guy here, this one here. So I will just cut it and put it here and just give it a styling that says this should be text gray 300. All right, but if there's a room, we want to do something here, so we'll map, or rather before we map, let me put this inside the div. I'll give this a class of space y6 so that it's going to add space between each review. So if we have a review here, it's going to add the space and just follow the same pattern like that. And inside here, we can now map over the reviews and say reviews the map. Then we say review. Then now we can say bring in a div like so, and we'll give this a class. Say border. Make sure this is inside the string. So border primary. Then rounded should be large. And give this a border line. Then padding should be 4. Then add a shadow of small. Then inside this div, we'll create another div again. And this one we have a class of mb2 display of flex items, presenter, then justify with between. So let me try and save this if I'm going to get an error, because I'm seeing a squiggly line right here. So I don't think this is saving properly. So let me try and add another square bracket right here, and at the end I'm going to add another one like so. Let me save again. All right, so yeah, so this is correct now. The review is declared, but its type is never read, so we can just continue what we're doing. So this is not a self-closing div, so this has natural closing like so. Then inside this, we bring in another div again, and we'll give this a class of flex items center, then give it a gap of 2. And inside this, bring a span like so. Give this a class of text small and text gray 500. And inside this, we just pass in the review, so we can say review dot created at. So if there's a date, we just pass in this. So basically I'll just tap this because this is what I want to actually type out. So we just leave it like so. Just I think I'm going to get rid of all these ones. So just call the method itself without passing any other thing. Alright, so we can save. So let's check what we have and see if that's coming in. So I can just refresh. Let me refresh my browser again. And nothing is showing because I guess we have not approved the room. So let's quickly do that. So we say review. Let's check. So the room is not approved. So we need to approve it and say publish. So once we refresh now again, we should be able to see it. Yeah. So something is showing right here. I'm not getting the exact text, but at least we are seeing something. So let's first of all console log the reviews. Let me say console.log reviews should be reviews. So if I check my terminal now, you can see, okay, we're actually getting something. And this is create at none. I think I called it create as not created. So let me cross check this. So we'll say review schema type. And let's check. So it's actually created at. So or rather, is it here? Okay, so it's from here. So let me just save this and let's check again. Okay, so it's coming through now. So created at time is coming. So if we check our UI, we should see the created at. Cool. But a little issue we're having now is that the review has any type. So I want to give it a type. So before, or let's just do it under this. I would say type should be, let me call this first review, like so. And remember that if we go to the sanity.types, we already have a type for our review document as well. So if I find the review, okay, we're not getting it. Okay, because again, we didn't run sanity type gen. So I guess open a new terminal. What was the command again? So okay, sanity type gen. So we can say sanity type gen. So I'm guessing is npm run sanity type gen. So let me confirm this again. Go to package.json. Okay, so this should just type gen. So let's just npm run type gen like so. Alright, so it's actually running now. Close this one out. Alright, so our types has been generated. So if we go back to the sanity.types, and I think if I search for review, yeah, I should see the review right here. So instead of doing this, let me close this one out and also close this. We don't use anymore. So I can just quickly come here and just say review like so, and this should be an array. So I will just import this. Okay, I can't import it directly. So what I'll just do is to say import type. I will say review from sanity.types like so. So I'm guessing, yeah, the error is now gone. So I don't think we need this anymore. Okay, so if I save now, then after this div, I'm going to create another one. And I'll give this a class of flex items recenter and gap should be 1. Then inside this div, we need to just loop over the rating and pass in the actual review rating. So here's what I mean. We create code fragment like this. I'm supposed to tab this, but I will just type it out. So we say array.from. So about that. So array.from, and this will pass in a length. So we say length, and here is where you pass in the review dot rating in our case. And I think I'm going to tab this so I don't get the status wrong. But since we're using Astro, you don't need an index, it's going to work fine. So right here, we just bring in the star icon like so, and give this a class name of, let's say, text should be primary, then the field should be primary as well. So say primary, and the size, let me just do it here. So the size will be let's just do 17. All right, cool. So I think we're having a TS issue here. Overload matches is core unknown. Okay, let's just default this to 0 like so. So let's save now, and if we check, we should see the number of stars. Okay, yeah, remember we selected 3, that's why we're saying 3 right here. So the next thing to do is to come underneath this div. So after this one here, and create an h4. So this one will have a class of text should be medium, font should be semi bold, and make it capitalized. Then inside it, we just pass in the user that left the review. So we can just say review dot, let's see if we're going to get a drop down. Yeah, the user, then add a question mark, then dot name. Okay, so we can't get that drop down here, which means we also need to omit the user from our review types and create our own types for it. So I'll just do it right here. So maybe I'll have to use the stuff I used before. So I will say type should be, I think I call it fetch. So fetch, or rather fetch review. Let's just say omit. So uppercase omit. They will pass in the review like so, and we want to obviously omit the user and say and percent. I will set the user like so. Let's also make it optional. I will say the name should be string. So now I think if we just need to change this one here. So we need to change this to fetched reviewer. And since we have this now, if I hit on autocomplete, you can see now we now have the name. And underneath it, we just have a p tag that is going to hold the actual comment. So this will be review dot comment. Then we say class should be text, set this to foreground, and they just make it a bit lighter, over 50 like so. So if we go back now and this refreshes, all right, cool. So you can see the user that left the review and the review that they actually left with the rating and the time as well. All right, guys, so that's it for this episode. In the next episode, we are going to be creating our rooms page.